All right, so help. I'd love to increase my protein, but I'm finding I'm going over my calories trying to do that. What do I do, Heather? All right, so this is a great question. I have a client who's really trying to increase her protein, but she noticed she was actually going over her calories. And I had talked to her before about all the different ways she could get more protein in. But what I often see people struggle with is they try to go from where they are with protein to the ideal scenario. That usually doesn't work. So you want to baby step your way there. If you're averaging 70 grams of protein a day and you want to eventually get to 1 gram per pound of ideal body weight, or 30% of your caloric intake, or whatever the goal is you're aiming for, you want to baby step your way there. So maybe the first 2 weeks you would go from 70 to 85 grams, then to 95 grams. Then, and every couple weeks you're adding in 10 grams on purpose. So that way you can kind of adjust your way of eating to a higher protein diet. So that's number one. Start where you are, make a plan to increase slowly over time. The second thing you want to do is you want to begin by clearing out your MyFitnessPal. You have a certain, or whatever food tracker you're using. You probably have a lot of go-to meals, and you probably have a lot of things you prefer to eat at restaurants. And if your protein is typically on the lower side, what that means is a lot of those foods might have to be altered, and maybe you have to change your focus for a little bit. So what I encouraged her to do was start by pre-tracking her protein for the day, because what will happen if you don't, you will eat your normal day of meals, whatever that looks like for you, maybe oatmeal at breakfast, Panera for lunch, whatever for dinner, and then you go, oh crud, my protein is still low. And then what you do is you try to kind of shoehorn in a bunch of protein at the end of the day, and you're going over your calorie allotment, which we don't want. Calories first, protein second. I'll say that again. Calories first, protein second. If you want to lose weight, calorie deficit must happen. The protein is there as a way to curb hunger, add satiation, help with muscle repair. It's actually, in my opinion, the best macro for the thermic effect of food. There's so much good that comes from your protein source. But if you're not in a calorie deficit and your goal is weight loss, you will be very upset at the end of the week or the month or whatever, because you're not going to hit your goals. So calories first, protein second. Now, you've already dialed in your calories, you want to increase your protein, you've been baby stepping your way up or looking at how you could start to bring in more protein. What you can do, an easy way to help focus, start with a clean slate. Go through each meal and say, how am I going to get in my 20 to 30 grams of protein at breakfast, at lunch, at dinner? Pre-plan that first. If you pre-plan that first, then you see what calories you have left for the day, so you can still hit your calorie target, and you pad in around the protein all the yummy extras, right? So if at dinner you're having 4 ounces of chicken and you really want rice, you then can alter the amount of rice, right? So maybe you can't afford to do a full cup because you're increasing your protein, and that increase in protein is also taking away from your calorie budget. It's important to think about that. So what that might mean is if you would normally have eaten a cup of rice, you maybe are only going to do a half a cup of rice. Why? Because more calories are going towards protein. So this is why putting the protein in first is super helpful. It lets you know what's left in your caloric budget in order to make those meals yummy to you. And it would help you see how you have to adjust the other parts of that meal in order to still hit your calorie goal. So you would normally put maybe either just a little bit of chicken in your salad or none at all, and you're used to having a full avocado and chickpeas and all this other stuff. What you would do is reverse that. Put the chicken in first. 4 ounces of chicken in my salad. Okay, so now instead of a whole avocado, maybe I can do a quarter of an avocado. And maybe instead of a full half cup of chickpeas, I can do a quarter of a cup of chickpeas. See how that changes? Because the protein goes in first, it already kind of earmarks the calories for that. Then you get to play with the calories that remain in order to fill out the rest of your meal and make it yummy for you. So this is how if you're really struggling with this, you keep saying, you know, I'm trying to increase the protein, but I'm going over my calories. I don't know how to do this. I'm feeling like I'm struggling. Start with a clean slate. Get those 20 to 30 grams of protein at every meal, or whatever your target is. Remember what we said at the very beginning of the video. If you're at 70 grams and your goal body weight's 130 pounds, you getting to 130 grams from 70 is almost double your protein. You're gonna need to go slow. It might take you 2-3 months to get there because you wanna make adjustments you can sustain, okay? Find ways to get that protein in. And I have tons of recipes in the Half Size Me forums: protein custard oats, protein pancakes, protein pizza, egg white crusts, all these different things that I have over time experimented with, found, enjoyed, put together. And that is kind of like, those will give you some ideas as to how to go about doing it. But there's tons of recipes out there. Just type in protein dense breakfast, protein dense lunches. You'll get some good ideas. But what you want to do is start with a clean slate, pre-check all your protein, make sure you're hitting your goal with that first. Then say, how can I add to that protein to make this meal delicious to me? What do I need to alter about my other ingredients? And if you eat out a lot, you may need to find other restaurants to start going to, or other menu items that would support you with your calories and your protein requirements. But I'd start with your normal everyday at-home meals first before diving into the restaurants. All right, guys, I hope this helps. Please like and subscribe. Click the little bell icon so you get updates when I release a new video. And please let me know in the comments any questions or ideas you want me to go into in a video, and I will talk to you soon.